If you're over 70 or love someone who is, then what you're about to hear may be the most important health truth you've never been told. For decades, walking has been praised as the ultimate low-impact exercise for seniors. You've heard it again and again. Just walk 30 minutes a day and you'll stay healthy and independent. But what if I told you that walking, while beneficial, might be quietly working against your body as you age? What if your daily walks are no longer enough and could even be accelerating aging rather than slowing it down? That might sound shocking, but many doctors are now speaking out, warning that seniors who rely solely on walking may be putting themselves at greater risk of muscle loss, joint strain, and dangerous falls. Issues that don't show up overnight, but accumulate silently over time. It's not that walking is bad. In fact, it's still valuable. But if walking is your only form of movement, it could leave critical areas of your body untrained and vulnerable. So in this episode of Elderly Reflections, we're going to dive into the 5 most important things seniors should prioritize instead of, or in addition to, just walking. These are the areas that will truly protect your independence, mobility, and vitality as you age. From strength to balance, flexibility to joint support, we'll cover exactly what your body needs after 70 to thrive, not just survive. And by the end, I'll reveal a powerful insight most people completely overlook, one that could add years to your life. Before we get into it, if you value senior health, motivation, and inspiration drawn from real-life lessons from the elderly, take a second to like and subscribe so you don't miss our future reflections. If you find these insights helpful, comment with the number 1 below. It not only helps others find this content, it lets us know these topics matter to you. Now, let's get into the first and most critical change seniors must make. Strength training isn't just for bodybuilders. It's for every senior who wants to stay independent, especially after age 70. This is something doctors are now stressing with growing urgency. You see, the real danger facing most seniors isn't disease or even weight gain. It's a condition called sarcopenia, the age loss of muscle mass. After 70, this becomes one of the biggest threats to your autonomy. The problem is that walking simply doesn't do enough to counteract this loss. It doesn't challenge your muscles through resistance. It doesn't stimulate the upper body. It doesn't help you lift a heavy bag or get up from a low chair. The sad truth is that many seniors think they're staying strong just by walking, but they slowly discover that simple tasks like carrying groceries, standing up without assistance, or opening a jar become harder and harder. What's happening? Their muscles are quietly fading, and walking alone won't bring them back. Take Thomas, for example, a 76-year-old retired school principal. For years, he walked every morning around his neighborhood. He thought that was enough to keep him fit. But one day he struggled to lift a 5-pound box. His legs felt unstable. Sitting down was easy, but getting back up took effort. His doctor explained that while his heart was staying healthy from walking, his muscles were not being challenged, so Thomas started integrating strength-building movements into his routine. Basic resistance bands, chair squats, light dumbbells. And in just 2 months, he noticed a change. He had more energy, moved with more stability, and even reported fewer aches in his joints. The good news is you don't need a gym membership to build strength. Bodyweight squats, wall push-ups, seated leg lifts, or using resistance bands while watching TV can all help. The key is progressive resistance, giving your muscles enough challenge so they stay active and strong. This is especially important for protecting senior health because the stronger your muscles are, the better your balance, mobility, posture, and even memory become. That's right. Maintaining muscle mass is linked not just to physical health but also to brain function. So how can you test your strength today? Try this. Sit in a chair and attempt to stand up without using your hands. Can you do it easily? If not, it may be a signal that your strength is fading. But here's the hopeful part. It's never too late to get it back. Strength training can reverse years of decline, often faster than you think. And that's why after 70, muscle isn't just about movement, it's about life itself. But strength alone isn't enough. That brings us to the second and equally critical area you need to train: balance and stability. This is the invisible thread most people don't recognize until it's too late. While walking keeps your legs moving, it doesn't train the tiny stabilizing muscles in your feet, ankles, and think about it. How often have you felt wobbly putting on a sock? Have you caught yourself needing to grab the wall or furniture just to stay steady? After 70, balance begins to decline quickly unless you actively train it. Let's talk about Evelyn, 78, who always considered herself active. She walked every day and even danced occasionally. But then one morning, stepping onto her porch, she misjudged the step. Her foot landed awkwardly and she nearly fell. That one moment triggered something deeper. And fear leads to hesitation, which can cascade into reduced movement, more imbalance, and a higher fall risk. Her doctor recommended simple balance training, standing on one leg while brushing her teeth, walking heel to toe in a straight line across the room, and controlled shifting of weight side to side. Within 3 weeks, Evelyn noticed she was walking taller, felt more grounded, and her confidence returned. The truth is, balance exercises don't take much time, but they do take attention. Try standing near a kitchen counter, lift 1 foot and count to 10. Can you do it without grabbing anything? If not, that's your body sending you a message. And don't wait until a fall forces you to listen, because falls are one of the top causes of hospitalization in seniors, often with devastating consequences. But the good news is this: balance can be rebuilt, and with it, your confidence, your posture, your coordination, all of it improves. That's the power of balance training. So if you've been relying only on walking, it's time to reframe the way you think about fitness. Elderly wisdom tells us, you don't wait to strengthen the roof when the storm comes. You reinforce it before it leaks. The same applies here. By training both your strength and your balance now, you build a foundation for long-term independence and resilience. In the next section, we'll dive into 2 often overlooked pillars of senior health: flexibility and core strength, and how neglecting them can quietly harm your joints, posture, and overall well-being. But before we get there, ask yourself, what's one physical movement that feels harder now than it used to? And what would it mean to you if that became easy again? Keep that in mind, because in the next section, we'll show you exactly how to restore it. When you think about getting older, you probably imagine slowing down, moving with a bit more stiffness, maybe needing a little extra time to get out of bed in the morning. But what if I told you that many of the aches, limitations, and even the sense of slowing down that so many seniors accept as normal are not the result of aging, but of neglect? Neglecting flexibility, neglecting posture, neglecting the very movements that once felt effortless. Turning your head, reaching overhead, tying your shoes. These movements aren't supposed to vanish just because you pass 70. They vanish because we stop using our full range of motion. And that's the hidden cost of walking as your only exercise. It doesn't stretch your body. It doesn't twist or reach or rotate. It's forward, repetitive, and limited. So today, in this segment of Elderly Reflections, we uncover why flexibility and mobility are the overlooked secrets of senior health, and how to get them back, starting now. Let's begin with a story about Walter, who just turned 79. For years, Walter was proud of his daily walks. Rain or shine, he'd stroll through the park, greet familiar faces, and feel energized. But slowly, almost without realizing it, he noticed something had changed. When he tried to reach for a book on the top shelf, his shoulder tightened. Getting into bed, more awkward. Turning to look behind while backing out of his driveway felt like a chore. He thought it was age. His doctor told him otherwise. Walter, he said, it's not your age, it's your joints telling you you're not using us enough. Because that's the truth. Our bodies are like machines. They stay functional only if we use every part regularly. Flexibility is the ability to move fully and freely. And when we stop stretching, stop rotating, stop reaching, the body locks up. Muscles shorten, tendons tighten, joints stiffen. And this cascade leads not only to discomfort, but to dependence. If you're noticing things like stiffness in your neck when turning to speak with someone, tightness in your hips when getting up, or even a general sense that your body feels compressed, that's not just the result of years lived. And the best part? You don't need yoga classes or a fancy gym. You need 5 to 10 minutes a day of consistent, mindful movements. Let's look at a few examples. Neck rotations, shoulder rolls, ankle circles, knee to chest stretches. These gentle exercises improve circulation, reduce stiffness, and retrain your nervous system to trust your own movements again. And if you're thinking, I'm too stiff to stretch, let me tell you something powerful. Stretching is how you stop being stiff. Even 1 inch more of flexibility can unlock better posture, easier breathing, better sleep, and less pain. Flexibility and mobility training have a hidden bonus: emotional well-being, because when you move more freely, you live more freely. You stop hesitating. You feel safe in your body again. That's something most seniors don't even realize they've lost until they get it back. And that brings us to the next critical piece: posture and core strength. This is the pillar that affects how you walk, how you breathe, and even how you're perceived. Let's pause for a moment and ask a simple question. Have you noticed yourself slouching more? Is your back rounded? Shoulders hunched forward? Do you find it harder to stand tall for long periods? If so, you're not alone. But this isn't just about appearance. Poor posture after 70 has a direct impact on your health. When your posture collapses, your spine compresses, your lungs shrink, your digestion slows, and your balance weakens, you feel heavier, more fatigued, and less confident. This isn't just posture, it's quality of life. Now let me introduce you to Harold, who just turned 76. Harold had always prided himself on his independence, but over the years, he began to feel persistent lower backaches. His breathing felt shallow. His daughter noticed he was leaning forward more, as if gravity were slowly pulling him down. His doctor didn't prescribe more walking, he prescribed core strengthening, and it changed everything. Within weeks of doing simple exercises like seated pelvic tilts, standing wall posture resets, and engaging his abdominal muscles while sitting, Harold felt his spine align again. He wasn't just moving better, he was standing taller, feeling stronger, and breathing deeper. And when your core is strong, your entire life gets easier. You see, your core isn't just your abs. It includes all the muscles that wrap around your spine, your pelvis, and your lower back. These are your stabilizers. They hold you upright, protect your joints, and give you that subtle strength that people feel even before they see you. That's why we say in Elderly Reflections, posture isn't about looking young, it's about staying young. Core exercises don't have to be intense. Standing tall with your back flat against the wall, practicing seated leg lifts, slowly rotating your torso while seated, these movements wake up your deep stabilizers and rewire your brain to support your frame. And here's something you might not expect. A strong core also improves digestion. Why? Because the muscles around your abdomen support your internal organs. That's the elegance of the human body. Everything is connected. Now you might be wondering, how do I know if my core needs work? Try this. Stand against a wall, feet slightly away from it, and press your head, shoulders, and hips back. Can you maintain that position without strain? If it feels unnatural or difficult, your postural muscles may be weakening. But don't worry. As we say in the wisdom passed down by generations of seniors, it's never too late to realign. You can rebuild what time has taken if you start with awareness and action. So let's recap what we've explored today. Walking is wonderful, but it's not enough. After 70, your body needs deliberate training in flexibility and posture. When you regain your mobility, when your spine lifts, when your chest opens, your energy shifts. People notice, you become more than a senior, you become a force again. And that's where true longevity begins. Strength, balance, flexibility, and posture. These are the 4 foundations of graceful aging. Ignore them, and your world shrinks. Train them, and your world expands. But we're not done yet. In the final section of this series, we'll discuss something most doctors overlook: how to protect your joints through low-impact movement, and the one silent mistake seniors make every day that accelerates joint damage. It's something few talk about, but once you learn it, it may change your daily routine forever. So stick with us. Your next step might be the one that gives you back a decade of freedom. Let's be honest, we spend most of our lives taking our joints for granted. They carry us through decades of climbing stairs, standing at work, lifting groceries, chasing children, and dancing at weddings. But after 70, those same joints start to whisper. Then they creak. Then one day, without warning, they shout. And for many seniors, that shout comes in the form of pain. A sudden knee that won't bend, hips that tighten after a walk, ankles that swell. And the mistake? Thinking it's just age, thinking it's unavoidable, thinking it's the price you pay for growing older. But here's the truth you rarely hear. Joint deterioration is not inevitable, and walking alone, as good as it is, can actually worsen the issue if done without balance. That's why in this final chapter of our journey through elderly wisdom, we'll reveal how to protect your joints, extend your freedom, and finally answer the question we've been exploring since the beginning: what does the body truly need to stay independent after 70? Let's start with Raymond, 78. Raymond walked religiously. It was his daily ritual, rain or shine. But one morning, after finishing his usual 3-mile walk, he noticed a strange stiffness in his knees. A week later, the stiffness became pain, and by the end of the month, stairs felt like mountains. His doctor told him something that surprised him. Raymond, it's not that you're walking too much. It's that you're not walking smart. You're using the same joints in the same way every day, but your muscles around them aren't strong enough to support them, and you're not giving your joints what they really need. relief, and variation. You see, joints thrive on movement, but varied movement. Repetitive impact, especially on worn cartilage and aging ligaments, can cause more harm than good if not supported by strength and low-impact alternatives. So what should seniors do? The answer lies in joint-friendly, low-impact exercise, movements that promote circulation, increase lubrication in the joints, and strengthen the surrounding muscles without pounding the pavement. Chair stretches, cycling, gentle Tai Chi, water aerobics, resistance band exercises done sitting or standing. These aren't just replacements for walking. They're protectors of your future, because when you train with respect for your joints, they give you back ease, agility, and comfort in return. Let me pause and ask you something personal. When was the last time you stood up from a chair and noticed discomfort in your knees or lower back? When did you last walk more than a few blocks and feel soreness instead of satisfaction? That's your body speaking to you. Not yelling but pleading. Support me, bury me. Strengthen the muscles that carry me. Most joint pain comes not from overuse, but from imbalance. Too much use of one pattern and too little engagement of stabilizers, supporting muscles, and rotational movements. And for many seniors, the damage creeps in silently. Until one fall, one surgery, one cane that becomes a crutch. But here's where the J-curve turns. You're not doomed to that path. You can change it today. Right now, whether you're 71 or 91, the moment you start integrating low impact, joint supportive exercise into your life, your body begins to respond. Blood flow increases, inflammation decreases, cartilage starts receiving more nutrients, and perhaps most importantly, your confidence returns. Let's revisit a quote from Life Lessons from the Elderly. You don't grow old by adding candles to your cake. You grow old by subtracting motion from your day. So add motion, but the right kind. Motion that heals, motion that respects your limits, but gently pushes your potential. That's how you stay strong without strain. That's how you live longer without just surviving. Let's not forget the emotional side of this either. Joint pain doesn't just affect your body. It affects your spirit. It whispers doubt. It makes you say no to outings, to travel, to dancing at your grandson's wedding. But what if one simple shift could give you those moments back? That's what Raymond discovered when he swapped one of his weekly walks for pool sessions at his local community center. His knees stopped hurting, his back felt lighter, he laughed more. His posture changed, so did his energy. One decision gave him back a piece of his life. So what can you do starting today? Begin by asking this: how do my joints feel after I move? If sore, tight, or stiff, adjust. Reduce high repetition impact, add slow, deliberate movements, add water, add resistance. And remember this principle: it's not about moving more, it's about moving smarter. The goal isn't to run a marathon, it's to get out of bed with a smile, to reach for something overhead without pain, to live life fully, not cautiously. And now, as we close the final loop in this reflection, I want you to take a moment to reflect on everything we've uncovered together. In the first section, we debunked the myth that walking is a one-size-fits-all solution for seniors. We learned that after 70, your body demands strength and balance training to preserve independence and prevent the silent creep of muscle loss and falls. In the second section, we explored the often neglected essentials of flexibility and core strength, how posture and mobility are not just physical, but emotional tools of resilience and grace. And now in this final segment, we've brought it home with the truth about joint protection and low-impact movement. Not to fear aging, but to outsmart it. Because aging isn't an enemy, it's a landscape. And the better your map, through strength, balance, mobility, posture, and joint care, the better your journey. So if you've made it this far, I want to ask you one last thing. Which of these 5 areas, strength, balance, flexibility, posture, or joint health, do you need to focus on the most this week? Write it down, say it out loud, tell someone, make it real, because reflection without action changes nothing. But reflection with action, that's how seniors reclaim power. This is more than a fitness guide, it's a mindset. It's your body saying, I'm still here. I can still adapt, I can still strengthen, and I still matter. And if you're listening right now, let me tell you, your journey is not done. In fact, it might be just beginning. Thank you for staying with us through this series on elderly reflections. If you found it inspiring, if it stirred something inside you, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and share this message. Your support helps us continue sharing real senior wisdom, heartfelt stories, and strategies that keep you strong, inside and out. And in the comments, Tell us one thing you're going to start doing this week for your body. Remember, it's never too late to become the strongest version of yourself.